Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are doing a review of the second in the series of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movies. This one is called Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
And we should start off by saying we both didn't even know that this was the second one in the series. We thought this was the third one because, to me, logically, after the first movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, what's the next logical thing to do? Honey, we shrunk ourselves. That, to me, that's the next logical thing. Because, in the first movie, the kids are shrunk. In the second movie, the parents are shrunk. That's logical. But no, apparently, the second one was Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. And when you hear the story behind this movie, you're going to freak out. Because I was watching it and I thought, number one, this is one of the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen. It's horrible. They ruined the series in one movie. And number two, the story behind the movie just makes things 1,000 times worse. Sapi?
Well, it was done in 1992, and like Marco said, I thought this was the last one too, because I've seen the next one that comes out and that we're going to do. And also, it has a negative connotation to say, Honey, I blew up the kid, because when he was doing his machine in the first movie, when he focused it on things, it did blow up things. And so
it doesn't really make sense either. It's kind of misleading, because there's
it is misleading.
No kid actually gets blown up. So
yeah, I just think that the title is very misleading, and I knew they didn't blow up a kid. I've seen it before, but it's just a weird title, and it's very bare. Very, very, very bare.
It's very soulless.
It's like a sketch.
It's a soulless, heartless corporation product of a movie. It's not really a movie.
Yeah, and they've moved, and I don't think they lived in Nevada before.
He said that they lived in Fresno.
That's California.
He said that when I was coming up with ideas in Fresno, or when I was inventing in Fresno, he said that. So I guess in the first movie they were in Fresno, California. And in this movie they're in shit Nevada. And when I say shit Nevada, I mean because right off the bat, you're like, what the hell is this? This is not the house from the first movie. This is not... Where's the neighbors from the first movie? Some of the best characters in the movie. Some of the main characters in that movie. Where the fuck are they? Oh, well, they're not around because the Zelensky family had to move to Nevada.
Well, I think because of the way it starts out that he used to have his machine in his attic, and that was kind of like his workshop up there, and or lab. And now there's a huge building in Nevada, I guess in Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas or in Las Vegas. And so his machinery, his special machines, are kept in there. He's using a new one, and the old one is in storage outside of the lab in Nevada.
Yeah.
In a big box way on top of a shelf in a warehouse. So things are a lot different, and the only people who return from the other movie are Marcia Strassman, who's Diane, the wife, and then Rick Moranis, the Lane.
And Nick and Amy, except Amy leaves the movie about 5 minutes in, and I thought, maybe it's because the actress had to go to college for real. Maybe it's because the actress had another movie to do. Oh no, that's not the reason that Amy isn't in this movie. Now let's get into how this movie was made. After the first movie, they had lots of trouble with coming up with a sequel idea. They didn't know what to do. And originally, when Stuart Gordon pitched the first movie, he also pitched an unrelated movie called Big Baby. And it was some stupid idea about having a baby as big as Godzilla going around because of a experiment gone wrong, and it's basically like this movie. And so what he did was he pitched the Big Baby script to be the sequel to the first movie. Probably one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And so I thought, like, wow, Stuart Gordon created this series. He created Lightning in a Bottle, and he also destroyed this series. Because who the fuck, like, I would literally, like, if I could go back in time, I would go back and just strangle all the executives who okayed this idea. Because, like, strangled them, like, metaphorically, or whatever, like, because, like, that is, like, completely bizarre. Like, who would have thought that was a good idea, Safi? To take a script that it has nothing to do with the series. And this is such an important series, too. It was such a huge movie. It's a family classic. And you take that movie and it's like, oh, you know what we should do for the sequel? We should do this random movie called Big Baby. And we should disguise it as a part of this series.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame because I was just thinking about these, there's a couple of old movies, there might be even 3, where a man, one is where a man gets shrunken. He's out in a boat, I don't know, he's doing fishing or whatever, and he, something happens during the night, some kind of light hits him, and he gets real small. And then he gets stuck in his house, and there's just nothing.
Yeah, we already know about your obsession with the Incredible Shrinking Man.
And then there's another one, but I have not seen it in years, about a giant woman. And it would be nice if they did something not associated with this series, but on its own, with, like, if they wanted to do, like, instead of a giant baby and trying to make it part of this series.
Well, the key.
Failed.
Well, the key is that they didn't want to make Big Baby in the first place. Like, when they first pitched that all by itself, they didn't want to make that movie. Why not? Because it was a piece of fucking shit.
Well,
And so
if they made a real horror movie with somebody who grew giant size,
no,
it would be,
no,
but not associated with this series.
Because it did not work regardless, because it looked ridiculous. It looked fake and phony. It did not look like the first one, where the first one was very impressive with what they were able to do, and it looked very real for the most part, whereas this movie just looked completely fake, like a cartoon. But anyways, the reason why Amy is not in this movie is because in the Big Baby script, there is no sister. So they had to, like, write her in a little bit. They had to disguise this shitty script as a sequel to the first movie, and they have it where she's there for 2 seconds and then she goes off to college. And I just think, like, it just shows, even back then in the 90s, they did not care about these stories and about these characters, because anyone, after watching the first movie, anyone would have said, well, I'd like to see the brother and the sister again going on an adventure. I wouldn't just like to see the stupid brother and some stupid baby that we never heard about in the first movie. I want to see the sister, too. She's an iconic character. Mm-hmm. Why the hell would you not have her be in the sequel?
I know.
So that really pissed me off, that, like, the excuse wasn't even that, like, oh, they thought it would be a good idea. No, the excuse was, well, in the shitty Big Baby script, there's no sister, so, you know, we couldn't really do very much.
Yeah.
Safi?
Yeah, and I didn't even see her. I don't know what happened. She must have been on screen for about 30 seconds or something, because I looked away.
It's like 2 minutes.
And I tried to look it up on YouTube, and I did find it, and it was real fast. So I did see the scene on YouTube, but and it's hard to find. but I didn't even see it in the movie because it must have been so fast that you couldn't look away. You had to look every second.
I mean, isn't that pathetic?
And she would have been old enough to go to college.
I don't know. Well,
it would have made sense for her to
She looked a little bit different, but like, come on, like. In the first movie, we didn't even know how old she was. They didn't even ever say, like, what year of high school was she in. So to just it's so sickening. It's so disgraceful. And it like, honestly, if I didn't have to review it for the channel, as soon as I saw that Amy wasn't going to be in the rest of the movie, I would have turned it off. In fact,
they could have used her because the movie is just so bare. It's like a skeleton.
Yeah.
There just isn't any meat to it at all.
There's no neighbors.
It's very mechanical. And the neighbors they have,
they suck.
They make fun of them.
They're like cartoons.
They call them, they say, oh, some inventors live there. Or something. Or an inventor lives there. They're
like those people from Better Call Saul. Like, remember in that shitty-ass final season where Gus he had that, like, second house that he was living in, the decoy house?
Yeah.
And you had those people who were really nosy and they were running down and it turned out they were involved. Like, that's what they were like. Like, they were just complete cartoons, cardboard cutouts. They had nothing to them at all. In fact, one of them was played by someone named... our last name, which I thought was funny. Safi?
I don't know. What now?
One of the nosy neighbors in this movie was played by someone with our last name.
Oh.
And so I thought that was funny. But yeah, like, there's no neighbors. The neighbors are gone. Like, and I thought, too, it was kind of elitist to me, in a way, because it's like, you know that it's because of the shitty script. In the shitty script, there's no neighbors, so we can't include the neighbors in the movie, because then we'd actually have to get up off of our lazy asses and actually fucking write something and add in neighbors. Well, you think also, it's kind of an elitist message, because you think about, like, now that the Zelensky family has all this money, and they've made this huge invention, like, it should be a very successful thing, like, oh, now they can't live next to the poor people anymore. Now they can't live next to the Thompson family. They have to live next to the pretty people family in the pretty people neighborhood in Nevada, where they can get treated like they're special rich people and they're above other people. That's what it felt like to me.
I don't know where you're getting. They don't act like that.
But that's what it felt like from, like, the studio's perspective of, like, we have to move the Zelensky family out from where the poor people are. And we have to put them next to the special people in the special neighborhood in Nevada, because the Thompson family, they're trashy and they're too American. We have to put them next to these people who, we never see them. They're just in these shitty mansions and these big, huge houses, and it's like, who fucking knows who they are? Like, I thought that was really negative.
Well, what's really negative, too, is, like I said, his invention is in some other building far away. And even the old one is, too. I said in a warehouse that's outside of this laboratory. But what kills me, he made this invention, he's proved that it worked, and that's why apparently they moved and they are associated with this company. But this company is disrespectful to him.
Yeah.
And they don't even, they're trying to just even lock him out of being able to do anything in the laboratory, which I don't understand at all.
It's totally illogical. It doesn't make any sense with the character of the first movie. It's just, once again, like, this is not this. It shows that this movie was not supposed to be a part of the series, because this is not the character. And another thing is the fact that, like, the boss, he has this guy who he works with, this real shithead. I can't even remember his name.
I don't know his name.
But he was a terrible actor, and his character was like a cartoon. He was the villain of the movie. And he wants to take over the project, and he doesn't want Rick Moranis to be involved or anything. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's like there's no reason at all except for he's just a jackass. And that might be a good excuse if you're like someone with an IQ of 1. But anyone like normal, it's like, what's the motivation for this villain? Like, there's no motivation against Rick Moranis' character. Like, if he wants to be successful and get money, all he has to do is just trust in Rick Moranis. Like, he doesn't have to take over like an evil mustache villain to get success and money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and even his son asked, why aren't you allowed to, I don't know how I'd put it, like, use your own invention or work with your own invention when it's yours?
Yeah.
Your invention. Why are they treating you like that? He didn't understand. And his father, I don't know what he said. He made up some kind of lame excuse, but he knew it was lame, and of course his son did too.
And we should also go over, the son is going through a stupid cliche Hollywood story about a teenage boy where he doesn't really care about science anymore. I mean, apparently all he cares about is rock and his guitar that he has in his room. He doesn't really have much of a character besides that. And he really hit puberty, though. Like, this is just a couple years after the first movie. And I thought that kid in the first movie, he was like a little boy. And he went from being a little boy to being a really big boy. Like, he's the one who grew up. He's the one who, like, got, like, gigantic. Like, not the baby. He's the one.
Well, the other movie was made in 1989, or it premiered in 1989. This movie premiered in 1992. So that's 3 years.
3 or 4 years.
Because it depends on when they were filming.
He got gigantic. He looks like a teenager, like a big teenager. It's really, really jarring, even though you can kind of tell that it is him. It is very, very jarring to me. Was it jarring for you, Safi?
Well, it was amazing that he grew up because it doesn't seem like it took very long for this sequel to come out. I guess 3 years is a long time, but I mean...
I think it's kind of unrealistic, too, because the mom wasn't very tall, and the dad, I mean, it's Rick Moranis, he's not very tall at all. So it was kind of unrealistic to me that he'd grow up that big, that fast, regardless, like, you know...
Marco, it happened. It's a natural thing.
It's weird.
He must have tall parents.
Yeah, but
real parents.
So it kind of takes you out of the movie because it's like you know that those aren't his real parents. You can feel it because he's huge. He looks like Peter Parker.
I suppose. But then
Spider-Man.
Also, we have the baby, and I'm not really sure how old the baby
is.
is.
I just hate this baby.
Like 2.
I hate the baby. I hate babies in general when they have these stupid stories about a baby. Like, you know, I hate because whenever you have a baby in a movie or a show and the baby is the center of attention, that is a huge mark of bad quality. That is like an automatic red flag. Like, you know, there's that one movie, Baby's Day Out, where like a baby just wanders around the city. Like, nobody likes that movie. You know, that's an automatic sign of bad quality to me. And this baby, I hate it. I hate these stupid baby stories and these baby movies. Like, I hate it.
Okay, Marco, what's enough?
And we haven't gotten through Nick's stupid cliche Hollywood bullshit story. He's in love with this girl. She's like a 5 out of 10 at best, and it's like a 5 out of 10, like in a 4 out of 10 in Nevada.
Carrie Russell?
Yeah. You
didn't think she was a cute girl?
No.
Oh, Marco, this is Carrie Russell's film debut.
And he's in love with her, and she's just a blowhead. She's a bubblehead. She's a ditzy biatch. She doesn't have any personality except for the personality in her bikini, and which isn't really personality at all. And it's like, oh, he's in love with her, but he's a nerd, even though he's not a nerd anymore. He's a rock fan or something. Like, it's just it's stupid. And he's in love with her, but like he's asking his dad about like what is even the story, like I'm a nerd, or like do people bully him? People never bullied him in the movie. She just kind of writes him off, and then like they have to have this forced encounter throughout the movie where eventually she falls in love with him because she actually
she learns about him.
Yeah.
She actually gets to know him.
She studies him because she gets kidnapped with him, but that's later on in the movie. But, like, what is that? What is that story, Safi? Like, what was that? Like,
I don't think there was much of a story. What happened was...
Like, what was the core of that?
They wanted to hire a babysitter.
No.
They called her.
No, his story, Nick's story of, like, what was the conflict going on? What was the dilemma that he was talking to his father?
Any dilemma at all.
He's talking to his father. He's like, "Is it hard to get girls or something? Like because I'm a nerd or something?" It didn't make sense.
Well, he just moved there, so there would be the fact that he's a new kid in a high school.
He never even talked about that.
No, he did say. Rick Moranis did say something. The kids are new. And they're in a new place, and they have to make friends and something. Somebody say either he or it's Rick Moranis or his wife. So they didn't go on, and there was no deep conversation.
That was Nick's story in the movie. He had some sort of a story going on, and it's some sort of a Hollywood bullshit story of this cliche shit I'm so sick and tired of seeing. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. It's like a made-for-TV movie for 90-year-old retards.
Okay, that's enough.
What?
Let's just move on now. So let's say what happened with the story.
What story?
So anyway, he wants to go to the lab, and I don't know. He's trying to make things bigger now, which I thought he already learned to do. Because remember, at the end of the last movie, they had a turkey dinner. And they made the turkey real big. Remember that? And so I don't know what the deal was, because he has a brand new machine, but it's in the laboratory where this nefarious guy can use it.
They have established, and now I just thought about this too, they have established that they can make huge turkeys, and apparently there's no issue like that huge turkey. They ate all that turkey. Which, by the way, the logistics of making that big turkey is ridiculous, because you think about that turkey would get rotten by the time they finish it, just those two families. So what did they give the rest of the poor? And you think about, they have this machine, and instead of solving real world problems, what are they doing? They're blowing up the fucking baby.
Okay.
I mean, what is up with that? They have established they can make huge food. So why don't they get one turkey at Walmart and feed all the homeless people? Because they're elite as fucks.
Okay.
The Zelensky family, they're disgusting. What do they call the proletariat?
I don't know. And that's not right.
Yeah.
Stop. Anyway, I just was thinking too, with that big of a turkey, I don't know how it would have fit in the oven.
Yeah.
I never even.
Well, no, they cook the turkey first and then blow it up, and then make it bigger.
Oh, okay. I
was
going to say I don't know how it would have fit in the oven.
No, the question would be, how would they store all that turkey in a little refrigerator, and then also how would two families finish that turkey before it would get rotten? The only thing to do would be to feed the homeless, but they don't want to do that. Okay. They want to move away from the poor family, and they want to go to shit Nevada.
Let's move on now.
With all the hookers and the bank robbers and the mass shootings in Nevada. They want to go to Nevada.
Okay, Marco, it's enough now.
With all the gambling addictions and the corporations and the bullshit in Nevada.
Okay. What are you doing?
This movie sucks.
Yeah, Marco really hates this movie. So anyway, they go to the lab. It's the baby, Nick, and Dad. And the baby has his rabbit with him. It's his favorite stuffed animal. And so, for some reason, they want to work on the machine and make the rabbit bigger. To do something, I don't understand.
To do what?
I don't know. I don't understand what the deal is.
They already know how to make things bigger. We saw that at the end of last movie.
I don't get that. And so, you know, they have to put these glasses on, and the baby's sitting over, and it's not a baby, it's a toddler. They put him in a little chair, and then they all put their glasses on, and then he sets the machine with the toddler. They get the rabbit because he wants to test the machine, which I don't get. And so he gets his rabbit. Well, the toddler doesn't want his rabbit to be on that place.
The toddler is a little fuckboy, and the toddler is constantly messing things up. He's breaking his brother's guitar. He's sabotaging him with the 6 out of 10. And he's really, really a piece of shit. And so he automatically, he's like, what did he say? Like, what did he say when he was going up there?
Understand.
Yeah, I couldn't understand him at all. You know, it's not like Baby Geniuses where they had the voiceover and it made sense. It's like, no, it's just like,
well,
and
I don't know how they got. I think it's pretty interesting how they got him to say all that stuff.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how that worked, but anyway,
I don't want to know.
They got all set up to do this experiment. Well, the toddler, they're not keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, and he's such an idiot. He goes up there to get his stupid bunny back, and he goes up there and he gets fucked up.
He gets zapped by the machine, and they don't even see that. That's what killed me too. I don't understand how they did not see that.
I know, that didn't make any sense at all. And then all of a sudden after that, all of the equipment got turned off because the security guard notified the boss, and the boss said to shut it off. And you know what? Like, that was representative for what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, like, hey, people who made this movie, shut it down. You're not capable of making a movie. Let's find someone with an actual idea for a story here.
So anyway, the rabbit is a little bit bigger, but it didn't look that big, and that was another thing. How the rabbit kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
And how could that be? That doesn't make sense. So somehow this machine is different.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't make
really
sense at all.
It really isn't explained.
It's just plot conveniences.
Yeah. And so as they get, and so they go downstairs, and the guard says something about they're not allowed to use the machine, and the kid's like, what? That's my dad's invention. He's not allowed to use his own invention. And so they leave the building, and I guess the baby's getting bigger.
Yeah.
As they go home.
It raises some troubling questions, though.
Not real noticeable, but
there's some troubling questions that arise when that happens that I won't even get into at this point, because the baby doesn't go through puberty, or anything like that. But it's weird. But like, we should also mention there was this really funny part that everyone has talked about. I can't remember what the M word was, but there was multiple, or it's nap. Somebody said, like, he needs to take a nap, and then Rick Moranis says, no, we don't say the M word around 2-year-olds. And I thought that was really funny. Like, that did not age well. Like, there's just some things that, like, I don't know, like, I don't know even back then, like, what they were thinking with that line, like, we don't say the M word around a 2-year-old.
I don't either.
That was bad.
Yes, that was spontaneous.
Was that on purpose? Was that like a a thing for like the adults to laugh at? That like Rick Moranis says the M word apparently in this movie off camera?
Was he a stand-up comedian before he started making movies?
I don't know.
I don't either. I was just wondering. So anyway, on the way home, he does start to get bigger. In fact, he can't get him out of his car seat, so he gets, which anybody knows about car seats in the back seat and how you have to fix them up. They're a pain in the ass. I mean, they're just really a pain. I remember from both boys. And he has to unhook the car seat with him in it and bring it in the house. And of course the neighbors are running by and they think that's weird. I don't know why they have to, what is their deal? And so they take him in. He goes, I'm going to have to give you some kind of dietary food. You seem like you gained a lot of weight. And in fact, he was getting bigger. And then he just starts getting bigger and bigger. And apparently, I don't know, he has to be around, electricity or something? Or electric waves? Or, I don't know.
Yeah, because in the original script, the whole movie ended, instead of being at Las Vegas, it ended in a power plant. Because the baby was at the power plant absorbing all the electricity. It's just so stupid.
So anyway.
And so at the story here, Safi neglected to mention that, Nick, he's depressed because he can't get with the 6 out of 10. And so his dad is like, let's go watch a movie. Let's go see a movie and go eat something in a restaurant. And so then he gets a babysitter. And the babysitter is the 6 out of 10. And after that, when they're going to go on their little father-son outing, it gets sabotaged by the baby growing big. So that's when the real story begins. So Safi, you didn't even mention that. It's like
I haven't gotten to it yet. You get mad at me for talking about the details in the movie, so I just didn't say anything.
Well, I was just saying how you didn't talk about that, but the rest of the movie is just, it's very, very, very predictable. And it just, one of the worst things about this movie is it just keeps going on and on and on. Whereas the first movie, you never wanted it to end because it was so good. This one, it's like, okay, is it going to end soon? Oh no,
the baby gets to be 100 feet tall.
Yeah, still got 30 minutes left. Oh, the baby's getting bigger. Oh, still has an hour left.
Because he gets exposed. Anything, and that's why he ends up going down to downtown Las Vegas because he's so big. Of course, he can't fit in the house.
Yeah.
He left the house, and he's taller than all the houses, and he's headed down there because it's all lit up, and so they didn't want him anywhere near those lights because apparently that'll make him bigger. I don't get it because see this is how it's different from the other one. There wasn't anything like that in the other movie about being near a light and having an effect on your size. You just got zapped by a machine. You were either real big or real little.
Yeah.
So
that's because it wasn't this wasn't meant to be.
So it's like they didn't really even think it out, the idea that they had.
No, why would they? It was someone else's shitty idea they were using. Their shitty ass movie, and the effects for this movie look terrible. Like, it looks so cheesy and dated, and just the huge baby, it looks so fake and phony. It looks awful. I hate it. It's terrible. At no point in this movie are you really convinced that this is a big baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even imagine how they did it, because, I was watching the thing on YouTube with the teenage girl, and when they got stuck over in that hole, and the lawnmower was there and it was blowing, she was talking about they use these gigantic fans, but in this movie it's basically camera work, like trick photography. Like, you have these postcards and you have, I went fishing today, I caught this fish, and it's a giant fish and it's almost as big as the postcard, and the person is a little tiny person in a boat. It's just camera magic. And then they have to in order to wrangle the baby, they have to make the mother real big,
and that's the stupidest part of the movie, because that was straight out of a Goosebumps, Monster Blood 2, where the kid's hamster Cuddles was huge, And so the kid, he just made himself huge and fought his hamster to death, or fought him and got him. So that was kind of like that to me, but that part was really queer. I hated that. I just hated every single thing about this movie. It was sucked so badly. The brother, Nick, he gets to have some one-on-one time with the 6 out of 10, and they get to know each other better, and it's like, that's really queer, because, it was so stupid, because that plot, it was treated like it was this hugely important plot, but they never even resolve it. Like, at the end of the movie, they're just, they like each other, but there's no resolution of, like, are they going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Are they going to go on a date next week? There's nothing. I don't even think they kiss.
No.
So that's, like, fucked up, because in the first movie, like, obviously, little Russ kisses the Laura Dern, so why didn't they do that?
Or why didn't they do it?
That's what I said.
I don't know. So
Weird.
Anyway,
It's like Chauncey made this movie. Chauncey's the one who's like, we have these couples, and couples don't kiss apparently.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. Marco despises the movie. I think one favorite thing I like about the movie is the train dog. Because I liked it. They show it, and this is another way they show how crappy the neighbors are. The mailman comes and he opens the mailbox, puts the mail in. It's on the street. It's a street mailbox, and then when that happens, this alarm goes off, and there's a red light on the top of the mailbox, and it's like spinning around and around like a police light on top of a police car, and so the neighbors are running by, they're jogging, and the little doggy comes out of a trap door of the house and goes up, and the dog grabs something in his mouth, and he makes the mail fall down into this place, and then he gets the mail in his mouth, and he takes it into the house via this doorway, and I think it's the same dog. Dogs don't live forever, and but it's only been a few years, so I think it seems like it's the same dog. It's like a kind of dog, a wishbone dog. And sometimes I can think of the name, and sometimes I can't. It's like a terrier. It's one of the smartest dogs to train. So, and they showed the dog throughout the movie, actually, and show him running away and not doing a ton of tricks, but just like in the first one, remember he helped the kids. The kids latched onto his coat, and he took the kids into the house.
Yeah.
And the dog didn't do anything like that. It was mainly that one big trick, and then it would run and hide, and it would alert, if something was going on, it might bark or something.
Well, usually on these IMDb pages, they always have the dog on the cast list, but on this one, they don't have the dog.
That's
so
terrible.
I can't tell.
Get credit.
They probably have like Animal Trainer somewhere, but
Well, yeah, the owner, trainer.
They don't have any. Cork the dog was actually whatever his real name was or anything.
It could be already just Cork.
I don't know.
Sometimes they just keep the name that they have.
Your mom's Cork.
He's a cute little dog. Doesn't look exactly like the Wishbone dog, but he's a very cute dog, and they're so smart. Very smart. They're like golden retrievers. Golden retrievers are really smart, and they're trained to help people.
Let's see if he's on the first one. Let's see if he's in the first one's cast list, because that would be pretty funny.
That was one of my favorite parts, actually, with the little dog, because of and he's not on screen. Doing anything significant like he was in the last movie. So
Well, I would say, is there, are you, oh, he's not in the first one either on the list. That's weird. I'm telling you, whenever there's an animal in a movie, they're always on the cast list.
Why?
Always. Always.
Well, I wonder if you have to kind of like Google it and say, what was the name of the dog, or...
You could probably Google it, but I don't think it's fair. I think it's stupid and shitty. So I'm not going to.
I'll have to look it up later just to see.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. I mean, obviously the bad guy boss, that's another thing, is you think that the bad guy boss is going to be this huge threat, but what happens is the boss talks with the bad guy, and the boss says, you were right about everything. It's this really cliche, cartoony Hollywood dialogue that sounds like it was written by an AI, and all of a sudden, Rick Moranis just comes up to him and talks to the big boss, and suddenly the big boss is persuaded, and he says, well, actually, he's fired, and you're actually in charge now. So for the rest of the movie, the dickhead boss, he's just acting like on his own.
He's gone rogue.
Yeah.
And he has a gigantic gun with a tranquilizer, and he wants to tranquilize the baby.
Yeah, he tried tranquilizing the baby, and I will say that I guess the only thing, and I don't even really like it, but the only thing I kind of liked was at the end where he said that it was just a tranquilizer gun, and the wife, she punches him right in the face and knocks him out. I thought that was cool. But other than that, this movie is like the second. This movie's like the Antichrist. This movie is like it's it's just the worst thing ever in history. Like, I just hate everything about it because this movie ruined the series. Like, the series never came back. Like, the third movie is really, really good, but nobody even gives the third movie a chance. And a lot of people, they just say the third one is bad because it's straight to video. Then they fail to mention, like, well, this second movie was in theaters, and the second movie wasn't even supposed to be a part of the series, and, like, I think that's worse. So, I mean, this movie, it's the worst out of anything.
Yeah, it's a shame. Because it's kind of like people just didn't trust what was going to come next because this one was so bad.
It's kind of like when we saw that first Goosebumps movie and we didn't give the second one a chance.
And then when we were watching it for a channel, and if we didn't have a channel, we probably wouldn't have ever given it the time of day.
No, I wouldn't have.
And then we found out it was really good.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you screw up a movie series.
Well, Safi?
So I gave it
what do you give Carrie Russell?
What?
Because you have some kind of... I don't even know who that is. Like, who the fuck is Carrie Russell?
The girl was in the... she had that series.
Who is that? I don't know.
She had beautiful long hair, curly hair like that. Everybody loved it. And then when she cut it, everybody had a fit.
Who is that?
It was like, God, I remember it was like a viral type of thing.
I don't know no Carrie Russell.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
And
Where?
She was in that Pie movie and with Andy Griffith.
Oh, I thought you were talking about American Pie. I was like, ooh.
No, Marco. I've never watched any of those.
She was the waitress?
Yes, Marco.
She was the waitress?
Yes, Marco.
The main one?
Yes, Marco.
No, she wasn't.
Wanna make a bet?
She looks like a different person.
No, she doesn't.
Ooh, it is.
I told you.
Ooh. Ooh.
So anyway, one thing that was very important to the baby in this movie was ice cream.
Sorry, Safi, but
in fact, they got the baby's attention by getting an ice cream truck that had a giant ice cream bar on the top.
Yeah.
And I think it lit up. It made music, anything to attract a toddler, and also right before the baby got really, really big. It got into the ice cream bars in the freezer and ate almost all of them. But anyway, so they knew one thing they could do to distract the baby so they could get them still enough to make them, reduce them back down to normal size, is lure them to ice cream. So since it was such a terrible movie, I gave it a bowl of melted ice cream.
What kind?
Any just crappy, terrible vanilla.
Terrible vanilla?
Well,
Is that
I
a
mean,
flavor? Terrible
just
vanilla?
Just something, not a very good vanilla ice cream. Just something really cheap, but it's all melted. And it's just like in a bowl and it's gotten sour.
Ew.
So that's what I gave it. So how about you? What did you give it?
Well,
I know you gave it some lovely review.
I was thinking about the first one was a Kit Kat.
Right.
And so, ow! Anyways, the second one, I was thinking about Trick or Treat. I was thinking about what are some of the worst things you get in the Trick or Treat bag, and I was thinking like
Raisins.
Floss, raisins, fruit candy, because fruit candy, it's like, okay, fuck off. Fruit snacks, like, but the worst thing is when you get that bubble gum. Is it double bubble gum?
Yeah, there's double bubble. But I don't know if people really buy that.
Yeah, they
it's
do.
Very off-brand.
They buy it in bulk, and it's stale because they don't eat it because it's gross and it sucks.
Well, it's too hard on your teeth.
Yeah,
it can mess up your teeth.
It's hard. The flavor comes out of it in like 1 minute or less, and then you're just chewing like gum with no flavor at all. It gets really, really gross.
What happened to that
And-
other bubble gum that they used to have?
What do you mean?
Well, it was like replaced double bubble.
What?
Double bubble's like been around for like 1,000,000 years.
What?
It was a different brand. I mean, it was something that everybody, and you know what? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it lately. I bet they got rid of it.
I don't know.
See, it's associated with Tootsie Roll, that company.
They have Bazooka.
Yeah, there's Bazooka. That's an old-fashioned one too.
There's some bologna bubble gum.
No. This
Ew,
is
what's that?
This is something that was like purple.
I don't know. I'm trying to do my food review.
Okay, go
and so
ahead.
this movie is when you get double bubble gum in the Trick or Treat bag. And it just everyone has it because like they all have like some secret pail in the back of the refrigerator, like behind the refrigerator in some dusty, gross area. And it's like, oh yeah, we got double bubble that one time when it was on sale. And so let's just give those poor kids some double bubble gum. They can chew on it and probably like kill themselves chewing it and just have the worst time with this disgusting gum that tastes like crap. The flavor is there for like 2 seconds. That's what this movie is. It's like this movie is so bad. Like this movie is like the worst thing in the world. Like this movie's worse than anything cuz like just I can't believe how they destroyed the series.
That's a shame. It really is. Well, I don't see it, but it was like it seemed like it replaced it. All I can think of is Laffy Taffy. That is not bubble gum, but it's a different brand, and everybody was chewing it. Made really big bubbles, and you could get it in grape. And they also have, the gum that comes. It looks like chewing tobacco, whatever that's called.
Yeah, Wrigley's Big Chew, whatever.
Yeah, Big Chew. Well, there's Tea Berry. Well, that's old too. There's Chiclets, Dentine.
Fruit
Hubba,
Stripes.
there it is, right there.
What?
Bring it down under Dr. Pepper. Hubba Bubba. Bubba.
They still have Hubba Bubba
Where? I never see that.
all over the
I
place.
never see it. Never. Not the way it used to be. It was almost, you would never even see double bubble.
Safi, it is everywhere. It's
Bazooka.
at Walmart right now. Go over to Walmart and put on a bulletproof vest before you go in there. Get your Hubba Bubba.
I don't want it. I just
Hubba Bubba.
It's bad for my teeth.
Hubba Bubba. I was the one who did a science project on it. I did in 5th grade. We were all assigned a different type of gum, and I was assigned the green apple Hubba Bubba.
Oh, really?
Where Safi thinks it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it used to be really more important. Maybe just because we're adults now and we don't chew bubble gum, but I mean people were chewing that. There's lots of commercials on TV. And,
Well, it seems like they have better flavors. Like they had
yeah, that wasn't like that before.
They had cola, Coca-Cola flavor. They had a licorice flavor. That's weird. But yeah, this movie, it's so bad. Like there isn't anything I can say. Like, it's so bad that like I really wish I could put it below Woods Witch.
No.
But Woods Witch isn't even a real movie, so.
No.
I just think like it's really unfortunate that they didn't have a real sequel with the neighbors, with Nick and Amy. You know, that they did this piece of shit instead. That's the tragedy of it. It's like, it would have been so nice to just see all those characters again in one last sequel.
I know, and all these people, they get older. And all these kids that were in these movies, they're like in their 50s. Late 40s, early 50s. So.
It says that Hubba Bubba was discontinued in the early 1990s when this movie came out, but returned in 2004. See?
Well, they used to have...
You're a liar.
I'm not lying.
Hubba Bubba
haven't
is here.
Seen it.
You can go to Meijer and get it for $1.11.
Oh boy. I told you I can't chew bubble gum. Oh, anyway. I just remember people were making a big deal out of it, having a blowing bubble contest.
That's gay.
They had tons of commercials, and like that's what I say, it's like out of sight, out of mind. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. We're past the 500 mark and going on up as high as we can go. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.